I mean, I thought we dominated again. We retained the ball. We using the wings well again. It was obvious from the outset that Rance was going to have to go and do a job at left back, and oh, what a job he did! He brought someone else's legs along with him that day, a much younger man's legs.
Well, it's the first time I've played at left back for probably 4 or 5 years, and I did get caught out of position once or twice, and it did take a few lanky leg moves to try and get the ball back. Fortunately, got away with it.
About 3 times in a row, full-back went round the outside of him, and Brian just reached out his leg about 2.5 metres, pulled the ball back, and the player went over every time. Never seen anything like it.
I don't know why. I normally take a lot of the corners, but for some reason Stewie and Brian were dragging the ball and taking the corners, and they were appalling.
I don't know why we did that. They were shit.
I took a couple. First one didn't even reach the near post, and the second one didn't even reach the pitch. Brian got one in, I think. Went about 40 yards past the back post, and I think that was it.
Corners were a problem. The Monday corner taking needs some work. Perhaps Yarrow, if he spent a little bit more time on the training pitch and a little bit less time in the bar or in the pie shop, we may get a little bit more out of it. But certainly the corners from Reunion were good corners. They thought about what they were doing. They put the keeper under pressure at every opportunity.
But Lee came up trumps, really.
He did. He was put under a lot of pressure, immense pressure, and he punched the ball away. Nobody really was going to take the glory away from him that day. I'd say he was a big man for the occasion.
I mean, I never felt we were under threat. I didn't see them giving us a hard time at all. I thought we were unlucky not to go in 1-0 up. To be perfectly honest with you, Newbs had a typical Newbs chance, one-on-one with the keeper, dolled it into his hands.
One-on-one as ever with the keeper, and I think we all probably knew what was going to happen. Some players top corner, some players bottom corner, some players chipped the goalkeeper. But being Chris, he just rolled it back to the keeper. 0-0 half-time. It's a shame.
What we're guilty of is a little bit of sitting off them and not competing for the second ball. That's the only thing we're letting ourselves down with, that and scoring goals.
Second half of the cup final, we definitely came into our own. I think our energy levels saw us attacking more, our defence just holding strong. They had a little shit of a right back who got under Stewie's skin, and there was a little bit of handbags, bit of a flick, bit of a Beckham-esque sort of flick of the ankles.
I think their striker took a shot at the goal, and it was in, and I was just head in my hands thinking, bollocks, we're going 1-0 down, and he came from nowhere.
It looked like it was rolling in from where I was. Somehow Chris got back, and I was sure he was just going to hoof it into the back of the net himself, but somehow he got his foot around it.
At this point, Ben Ford was having a bit of a tough time out on the wing, if you recall.
Yay! Well, he was shit.
It's funny how games can change on the most innocuous things, and Ben Ford was playing an absolutely atrocious game.
He was terrible. He couldn't kind of find his feet, really.
He was pretty much like a headless chicken, really, just running around. I think he got shouted at by at least 3 players, but I particularly remember the Steve Jones occasion where Steve's voice got very high.
Come on!
Didn't seem to know what he was doing. His left foot, his right foot, they were all over the place.
He was getting a bollocking from everyone. Obviously, he was getting a bollocking from me. I went up for a header. Guy was a teeny bit bigger than me, and head butted me in the sort of side of the head here. I sort of collapsed to the ground. You know, I had my hand on my head, thought that smarted a little. Was a little bit worried when I took my hand away what I'd see. Thought maybe I'd see a little bit of blood, and I sort of took my hand away, and it was like someone had turned a tap on it, just started pissing onto the floor.
There was claret all over the place. Very reminiscent of Terry Butcher, to be quite honest. I think it looked a lot worse than it was.
Bit of band-aid on that.
Patched him up admirably, and you know, he was just gagging to get back on, really. Couldn't hold him back.
Ben had had a fairly decent go a few minutes before after a bit of shouting at him.
I think there was a shot first. I went to follow up. I followed up. The keeper saved it. It was a good save because it was on target. And then the keeper saved that, bounced out, and Ben Ford came from nowhere, hammered it home.
Ping pong in the penalty box, and Ben Ford really just, in the end, just had enough and went, just get in, and it went in.
I just remember the ball coming out to him on the edge of the area, and it was one of those classic moments where, you know, from what I remember, everything went into slow motion, and the next thing, the ball in the back of the net, and just euphoria, couldn't believe it.
Maybe it's no coincidence that when I went off, he'd played really well and scored a goal, I don't know. It was 3 minutes to go, Yarrow said he was injured, so I came on to do a job.
He was just really overexcited, and Felix was still charging forward. We just needed to hold it tight, and he was kind of bombing past me, and I couldn't believe it really.
You know, the last few minutes were always going to be tight, 1-0 up, a few minutes to go against our main rivals that we've had for the last few seasons, cup final, sunny day. And, you know, it was tight. They had a couple of breakaways, and it was a little bit nerve-wracking.
Yes!
Fucking awesome, my man.
Better the kids' tournament in 8.
I just couldn't believe that we'd done it in the end. You know, falling to the floor. You know, you don't believe players do it, but I just couldn't. I had tears in my eyes. I looked around, you know, there were players there that I played with for 15 years, and finally I'd won the cup. Fantastic.
Couldn't really believe it until it happened, because I've been there twice before and lost.
Over the moon.
Beautiful, isn't it?
Winner. Who's the winner?
Victory means a lot. It's been a long time coming.
It's difficult to take it in right at that minute.
First cup final I've ever won. Fantastic. Love it, love it.
The Colonel was whooping like a small child.
People like Colonel have been there for a long time, and I think it's meant more to those guys, but I was proud. I was proud to be part of it, actually.
Then the sort of gravity of the situation hit me, and I was, yeah, jubilant, really jubilant.
The Harry Motson Cup. The Holy Grail of the Eastern Monday. Everything is in that cup. We're still saying this cup. All our hopes and aspirations. Fucking great.
I wish you could swim like dolphins can swim.
Visions of a 1970s Cup winner. I knew I'd not believe we were going to get that name on here.
Nothing will keep us together. We can beat them forever and ever. Oh, we can be heroes just for one day.
That one there
Yeah.
See that one there?
Yeah.
That one's Stewie Charlton's, who lives there with his wife Charlene. And then, hang on, I'll show you. If we move around here, you see the one with the big crested one with the round window?
Yeah.
That's Pete Sheridan with his wife Chardonnay.
Okay, lovely.
Yeah, me and my wife haven't bought down here yet. We're still on the waiting list.
You might have to edit this bit, Colonel. Put the camera down.